Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I am going to take a story kit from Ali Edwards. It's the Connect story kit that was released in February 2021. I'm going to take this kit, pull all the pieces out, and see how many meaningful stories I can tell using this product this month. My ultimate goal is to crush this kit, to use all the bits and pieces in here and maybe put nothing into my stash, maybe put just a few little remaining bits into my stash, but to primarily use up all of the product. So I am not going to take you through all of the pieces that are included here. I will add a video link in the description box below that will take you to the video of Ali pulling everything out and sharing all the different components that come in this kit. As I'm working with it, though, you will see all those pieces, come up and surface. So you will see all of it. It just, if you want a clearer picture of what's included in this kit, definitely check out that video. I am going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward while I get this planning process done. And then once I have all of my stories done and packaged and ready to go, we will slow you guys back down so we can close out for today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so first I'm going to get everything cleared off of my desk space here, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the planning process for this kit. I generally like to start with the journaling cards. I feel like those give me the best jumping off points for stories that I can tell, and immediately I have a few that I'm drawn to. I really like the card that says connect, and then it has a bunch of different things listed out with a spot to check them. I feel like that is a great card to help tell the story of how we connect or how I connect to other people. I also really liked the speech bubble with the heart in it that says, I love connecting to you. And then there was a connecting the dots. Here's the story, I think is what it says, is the subtitle. I felt like those would be a really good combination of cards to use to tell the story of how Erin and I went from meeting to where we are today. I like the idea of picking pictures, and this is something that Ali actually did for one of her stories, was picking pictures over a series of time to show the ways that we've connected throughout those years. Now for that, I actually really like the idea also of taking those memory cards 1 through 10 and using that to document the last 10 years. So maybe finding one picture from each year and then telling the story of something that we did in that year to help us connect to each other. Then I also liked the card that has the memory 1 through 5 on it. So it's like a smaller version of those bigger circles. I thought that would go really well with this card that says we rise by lifting others. What I want to tell the story of with this kit is connecting to other people via social media, and specifically within the crafting community on Instagram. I feel like my social circle, so to say, is just expanding more and more and more every day through that platform. And I want to talk about what that means to me and how some of the people in the community, whether they know it or not, have made such a huge impact on me and my life. So that is a story that I'm also considering. In the bottom left-hand corner there, I've got a few pieces that talk about taking time to connect to myself. That is a story I want to tell as well. I'm not super great at just taking a moment to sit and breathe and think about connecting to me. And so I feel like that's a really great opportunity to tell that story, and then to also maybe project into the future of how can I do better with this. I loved the card that says this connection has my heart, and I loved it paired with that kind of soft gray loopy chain type pattern. I thought that that would make a really great story for my daughter in talking about her connection to her grandfather, who we call Tito. So I think that will be really fun. I'm going to start putting some of those ephemera pieces on here, or the embellishments. That's what I'm going for. So the acetate hearts, the little heart brads that came in the kit, chipboard pieces. So I'm going to get all of those going into these groups based on the story, and making sure that they can help me actually tell the story that I want to tell with them. So the Connect card there that had the checklist in it, I really liked the way that the tones went with the like brushed heart type pattern. And then it also gives me a spot there to do some journaling too, which I generally like to try and include some journaling spots in each of my spreads. These that I have in my hand right now are one of the add-ons from this month. It's the only add-on that I got. And I just really felt super connected to the sentiments in them. And so I couldn't pass them up. But then it's very tricky of figuring out what the heck am I going to do with these pieces. So I'm going to think about it a while. I'll set them to the side and then I'll come back and think about it again and come up with a plan for how I can use those on a spread. In the meantime, the little bit of the two journaling cards that you see, the one with the map on it, and it says, thankful for our connection. I want to tell the story of a connection with a friend that I've made over the past year with that set. And then I also have a pile that's kind of off screen. You can see about half of it there. That's going to go to Project Life. For whatever reason, my kit came with two of those like memory 1 through 5 circle 4x6 journaling cards. So I am going to use them both, but just an FYI that these kits were only supposed to come with one. I'm not sure why there were two. I thought maybe there could have been like a misprint and maybe that's why they included a second one, but I couldn't see anything wrong with either one of them. So I think it may have just been a mistake that a second one got added. Now that I've got these piles in general figured out here, the next thing I'm going to do is grab out my chipboard pieces. I do punch them all out of the sheet and then add them into the groupings where I feel like they will go the best. So I've got, getting together and that pink kind of brushed heart up with the lighter pattern stuff. I also put in the light gray plastic heart and the pink plastic heart. I really like the softness of those cards all together. I'm adding a few of the hearts to the spread there that says, I love our connection, the one that I'm going to tell the 10 stories with. And then I'm going to come back to these again and try to figure out like what in the world can I do with these pieces. So I grabbed over this template. This is just a template I made for myself to help me hole punch things in the right spots. So I don't have to use a transparency or a pocket page protector, because I feel like those are really hard to finagle in and out of my hole punch. So I just use this and it helps me know where to put those things. But it's also the size of my 6x8 outside of the pocket pages. So it does let me put these pieces on here to see how can I arrange them on a page. I did like this configuration right here, where they're all on the upper end. And then what I thought I could do was possibly add some kind of line underneath it and then create a block of text where I could actually do some journaling. But then I got thinking like, wait a second, what if I turn this into a page in my pocket page notebook? So that's a traveler's notebook that has a plastic page in the middle of each spread. And I generally like to tell one story for each of these kits in that notebook. It gives me an opportunity to do some self-reflection and to just get some thoughts out there on paper. So I thought, why not take those plastic phrases and line them up in a straight line and then put those inside of the pocket that goes in between the spread. And then on one side, I can have journaling. On the other side, I can have a large photo. That's generally the format I go with in that notebook. And it lets me use up these things that were these phrases that just really hit home for me, which is the whole reason I bought them. So that's what I'm going to do. So now that I have this done, I went ahead, I added my planning sheets around to each of those different piles. And now I'm going to go ahead and get sketching for what I want these to look like. For this one, I'm just drawing this little in-between piece so you can see like this is going to be the pocket and here's where I want these to go. And then, so that will be like the plastic pocket in between or in the middle of the spread. So then on the rest of it, I'm going to add a photo to the left side and I'm going to go through some of these other sets that I made and see if I can pull out a chipboard piece that I might like to add to the photo just to spruce it up a little bit. I will actually go with that hexagon one right there that says like show up, connect, it's just like 4 different things. I can't remember all the things it says, but I will put that on the photo. That's going to be what I will plan for that anyways. And then I also pulled out one of those titles that says Making Connections. And the prompt that I wanted to give myself for this story was open heart equals connection. I wanted to talk about how adult relationships are hard, and because we have so much experience with a lot of times with relationships that didn't work out, and because of that experience, it makes it harder and harder and harder to keep your heart open to new connections and new friendships. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit in my spread. So that is what I jotted down, like open heart equals connection, because we can't connect to people unless we have an open heart. So that's just my jumping off point there. So for this next story, this is the one I'm going to tell the story about how I connect to other people. So in the bottom, I'm going to add the heart page there. What I'm going to do for a photo for this is a flat lay. I love taking flat lay photos, and for something like this where it's talking about connection, so like, for example, I'm in a book club, so that's a connection right there. I like to write people, so, I can grab a journal or a pen or something that represents writing to people. I also like to go get coffee with people when it's not a pandemic. So, having a coffee cup or a bag of coffee or something like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to grab a bunch of items like that, set them out, and take a picture of them to use as a representation of how I connect to people. So that will be another story with this kit. Moving on to the next one. This one is going to be about connecting with a friend. I, have had the pleasure of getting to know many people in this community, which has been just like an absolute dream come true. And I look forward to building connections with many, many people, many more, and deepening those connections. One friendship that has been so, I don't know, it's just been so nice to have. And that's not even the right word that I'm looking for. It's just, a relationship that's helped me get through the year and that I'm so appreciative of is my friendship with Kasha. And I wanted to tell that story. And the funny thing is I actually saw recently her story classroom. She's a guest storyteller for Allie. And I recently saw that she did this same type of story with for the classroom about me. And I was like, you know what? I have been wanting to tell that story too, and why not? I'll just do a companion. So it's like a response to hers, which will be fun. So I'm just going to add the maze card, put a little bit of journaling. I don't feel like I need to put a ton of words on that, at least not yet, which is, crazy for me to say because I usually have a million words, but I feel like I can get across the point that I'm appreciative of, and I'm so thankful for that connection in that little tiny space. So that's all I'm going to do is 2 pictures and the 2 journaling cards and call that one done. This one, I at first was going to do this on a 6x8 double page spread. But then as I was thinking about it and the scale of those circles and the fact that I wanted to get all of them on there and the fact that I really wanted to have my title in the middle made me gravitate towards doing something different this month with this story. So I'm actually going to do a traditional 12x12 spread for this story. And my plan is to fussy cut out the come together title there, put that in the middle, and then have some layered up hearts underneath that. And then to place the circles, the memory 1 through 10, across the spread. And I'm not sure if it's going to be like random or if it's going to be like really structured. We'll see as I get into it. And then I can use those brads. I pulled out 10 of those in order to connect it onto the page where then you can swivel it. And underneath will be the photo that goes to that memory. I'm thinking that will be a really fun way to use those circles to make something interactive and to tell the story of Erin and I connecting over the last 10 years. So I'm very excited about that story for sure. For this next one, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to I'm going to definitely put this We Rise by Lifting Others on there. And then I was thinking about doing something where I could cut out those circles. Like, how can I cut out those circles? Or just add them onto a page and put photos in them. I don't know. And then it hit me that those are like 6 2x2 squares, although they're circles, right? So I could totally punch them out and add them into 6 pockets of a 2x2 page protector. And then in the other little slots, I could add photos that correspond to the memories. So I really liked that idea. I also thought that this floral element looked a lot prettier with this spread than the speech bubble. So I decided to put the speech bubble in with my December daily. That's so funny. In with my Project Life stuff, and then to bring that flower one out instead. And then I also loved the sentiment on that plastic piece. I don't remember exactly what it says at this moment, but I know that when I read it, I immediately thought of this project. So I am going to trim out a 3x4 card from just cardstock, stamp some kind of background on it, probably in an ink that isn't super bold, something kind of neutral and faded, and then I can add the sentiment on top. And then I'll pair that with a 2x2 page protector where I can add the circles, and then I can also add photos in the opposite pockets. I grabbed the chipboard there that says more of this, and I figure I can add that either to the 2x2 pocket or to the We Rise by Lifting Others journaling card, and then that will be that. So I'm also feeling very excited about that spread, and that was a story that as soon as this kit came out and, Allie showed all the pieces, that was a story that immediately came to mind for me, is making connections through this craft and through social media. So I'm excited to tell it. So now this next story is the one about taking time to connect to myself. And what I'm doing is just trying to figure out how I want to configure these cards so that one, I can add the pieces I want to on it that make the most sense, but then also where am I going to put my journaling for this project? So what I'm going to end up doing is deciding to take the watercolored portion that says taking time to connect with myself. I'm adding on the chipboard piece, and that says this connection means so much to me. And then what I'm going to do is fussy cut that off and add it on top of a 6x8 photo. So I'll have a big 6x8 photo going behind that. Then I wanted somewhere where I could add journaling. So what I'm going to do is create my own journaling card for a 4x6 slot. So I'll have the 2 3x4s there at the top, one with the plastic card on top, and then there's like a little chipboard on there that says saying yes to connections or something along those lines. And then I'm going to stamp the exact same sentiment as is on the chipboard as a repeat pattern on like the top inch or inch and a half of a journaling card. So then that'll give it a little bit of decoration there that'll help tie it all in. And then the heart there that says disconnect in order to connect, I'm planning to cut that out and to add it to a piece of transparency. So that will go on top of the photo. But then when you flip it over, there will be the same heart on the back with some journaling lines and some area for me to journal on there. So what I wanted to tell with this story is, well, in the 4x6 area, I really want to talk about how I'm not very good at connecting to myself. I think I am when I sit down and actually take time to journal and to write and to think, but oftentimes life is so busy that it's hard to find time to do that. So I want to talk about that in my journaling, and then on the back of the heart, I want to make a list of things that I can do over the course of the next month or the next year that can help encourage me to do more self-connection and self-reflection, that sort of thing. Moving on to the next story, this one is about the connection between my daughter and my father-in-law, so we call him Tito. And what I want to do with this, as I'm thinking here, is I'm going to put a full-page photo on, it's going to be a full-page photo to begin with, and it will go on the right side because I am also going to add a transparency on top, and I want the elements to lay down on top of the photo. So then on the photo itself, I'll add the word connect, and then I will also add getting together, the chipboard piece. Then on top of this, I'm going to put a transparency that will just, be loose and separate, like it's not going to be attached to the photo. And on top of the transparency, I'm going to layer up some flowers. So I will take the card that says this connection has my heart, fussy cut that out, but then also take that really light chain link pattern and cut that into 2 flower shapes as well. So that will give me two hearts that are out of cardstock or, card paper. And then I also have the 2 transparency hearts there, one that's pink and one that's gray lines. And then I also have 2 chipboard hearts there. So I'm going to create this cluster that goes across the center of the page, and then it'll lay down on top of whatever photo it is of my daughter and my father-in-law. I did think that it was, maybe I would put it vertical instead of horizontal on the transparency and do a 3x8 maybe instead of a 6x8. But ultimately, I think I'm going to go with that 6x8 size just because I love that size. But if you're working in a 3x8 album, you could do the same exact thing, just add your hearts vertically instead of horizontally. Last but not least, we have all the product for my Project Life spread, which I'm thinking I'm going to do my Project Life spread the first week, which I guess would be technically the last week of March. So this is a video that will come out in the beginning of April. Now, I don't usually do a whole lot of planning when it comes to my Project Life spreads ahead of time. I usually just wait until the week happens and pull all the stuff out that I have saved to figure out how to tell my stories with it. But this time, I actually wanted to leave myself a few notes for ideas that I've got. One is to punch out the 1 through 5 memories and add that on top of some 4x6 photos. And that way I can do some journaling on there for what the photo has in store. And then I also have those title pieces that I thought would be really awesome to create journaling cards with, where I have extra space to put journaling for this week of Project Life. All right, friends, that completes my planning process for today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this all come together, seeing the different stories that I'm going to tell using this kit, and maybe it inspires you to also pull your kit out and figure out stories that you can tell that are meaningful to you. If you have this kit Connect or any other story kit that you would like to work your way through over the course of the next month, I would love to have you join in on the Story Kit Crush Challenge. Over on Instagram, we are using that hashtag Story Kit Crush to post our projects and share them amongst each other to encourage and inspire one another. If you're interested in seeing an early access to the current Allie Edwards kit, Bloom, I'm also working my way through that one over on my Patreon. I have information down in my description box that will take you over there so you can see everything I have to offer over on Patreon. But one of the benefits is seeing my planning process and my process videos early for the current story kit, which will then be live to YouTube in the following month. So this kit I actually did last month on Patreon, and then I'm currently working on Bloom. So if you would like to see that one, hop on over there. Otherwise, stick around and enjoy the ride with Connect here on YouTube over the course of this month. All right, you guys. Well, I will be back again today with a process video using this kit, and then next week with my regularly scheduled content. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future content. And then until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next video.